Yo, this is a no spoiler review of the film Kill List. So the premise sounds really interesting. It's a British film about a hitman who took a little time off after a botched job. But he's getting back in the game because he ran out of money and because his wife told his ass to go and make them some goddamn money. So he has a wife and he has a son. And when he gets the new job, he and his partner begin to find themselves in some really dark shit, supposedly. Sounds good, right? Okay, well, this movie sucked. I only chose to review it because it comes up so much. I look for underrated horror films, and this is one of those movies that keeps coming up. And I tried to give a little credit for potential, but it was so poorly executed, I can't even do that. So I don't have any likes. I'll just run down my list of dislikes. Number one, the protagonist Jay, played by Neil Maskell. We follow him and Gal, his partner and friend, on their little hitman journey, and we learn that Jay has the temperament and tantrums of a fucking toddler. How is this dude a hitman? He is fucking terrible at hitmanning. My next is like some of the shooting techniques were really strange, like just some weird cuts and shots. This is most often done, to make a movie appear really eccentric and deep, but it only works if said movie is actually eccentric and deep. Like, you can't have all these unusual attempts at artistic tactics just to feed us bullshit. Then it just comes off as weird. My next dislike, this shit is boring and slow. Like, if I hadn't heard the lie that there's this giant payoff at the end, I don't think I would have finished it, and that is rare. My next dislike, it was really actually pretty predictable. I think some of the clues were too obvious. I put all the pieces of the puzzle together pretty early, and even so, it just wasn't that deep. When the climax occurred, I wasn't even a little bit surprised. Actually, I was more annoyed. Actually, that was when the movie got even worse. My next dislike, for some reason, I could barely understand the dialogue, and in order not to come off as insensitive, I actually did a Google search or two and found out that it's not just me. And like I said, I didn't want to sound insensitive because this is a British film. There are accents, but I I saw that it's not just me, so I feel okay expressing that. I watch movies with people with accents all the time, but I couldn't understand what these people were saying. I had to watch with the captions on. My next dislike, the characters sucked, all of them. I hated every single person in this movie except the little boy. The wife annoyed me from the second, and I mean the second she opened her mouth, which is in the first scene. There was no one. The whole cast was just annoying, and there was no purpose. My next dislike, you never find out any of the details about the botched job. You get an idea, I guess they were hinting at from a story the guy told his son. And normally I'd accept that, because technically it is irrelevant. But they kept bringing the shit up. So at some point you're like, okay, well, what the fuck happened then? You're going to keep bringing the shit up? But they never they never go into any details about it. And my next dislike is the acting. It just wasn't good. Overall, there were no redeeming qualities to this, except maybe the score, and that's only because it was better at making the movie seem creepy than the movie was at actually being creepy. So wrapping this up here, this is fake deep. This is not the psychological thriller it set out to be. I have some theories about the types of people who like this and why, but I can't say that without giving too much away. I think that if it had been executed properly, the overall conclusion they were going for isn't the problem. I just think there's a subset of people who really like that type of shit and they gave the movie a pass it didn't deserve. I don't have a problem with the plot. The movie was just fucking dumb. I don't recommend this at all. I give it a 2 for what it could have been if it had better, characters. And the plot itself, like I said, it wasn't that bad, but it just didn't gel well. It was poorly written. Please don't bother watching this. Just follow me on Twitter at MovieBuff, and